Over the years, I've analyzed hundreds of Roth conversions, and I can tell you, most people who do them are leaving money on the table. But a few weeks ago, I talked to a man who took that to an entirely different level. He told me he made what seemed like a tiny miscalculation in his Roth conversion plan, and he estimated it would cost him about $950,000 over the course of his retirement. At first, I thought that number sounded high, but then I ran the math myself, and he was right. The good news, you can avoid the exact same mistake. Because in today's video, I'm going to show you the single factor that quietly determines whether a Roth conversion saves you six figures in taxes or quietly robs you of it. And it's not the one you think. And toward the end of this video, I'll give you a simple 7-question checklist to help you spot where your own plan might be leaking money before the IRS does. Stay with me, because we're going to unravel something that could change how you think about Roth conversions forever. If you're new here, I'm Kurt Soupy. I'm a CPA and retirement planner for over 25 years. Let's talk about what actually happened to that $950,000 mistake. The client I mentioned had done what he thought was everything right. He saved early, he invested well, he waited for what his advisor called the perfect Roth conversion window. But what he didn't realize is that while he was waiting, his window was closing. His pre-tax accounts kept growing, the market added fuel to the fire, and by the time he started converting, he was forced to do larger conversions in higher tax brackets with less time to grow tax-free. And that's the quiet mistake most people make. They underestimate the power of time in a Roth conversion. In a few minutes, I'll show you how just starting 5 years earlier, even while you're still working, can make a six-figure difference. But before we get there, let's rewind for a second. Here's a quick refresher. A Roth conversion simply moves money from your pre-tax account, like a traditional IRA or 401k, into a Roth IRA. You'll pay ordinary income tax on the amount you convert now, so that you can grow it tax-free later. Once it's in the Roth, it's yours. No required minimum distributions, no surprise tax hikes. You can control your income in retirement instead of IRS controlling it for you. But that freedom only comes if you manage a few key levers the right way. And one of them determines whether you keep or lose hundreds of thousands of dollars. We'll get there in about 2 minutes. There are really 4 things that determine whether your Roth conversion is a winner or a warning sign. Number 1, the growth runway. The longer your money stays invested tax-free, the more power the conversion has. Convert and let it sit in cash, not worth much. Convert and let it grow for 20 years, game changer. Number 2, your tax bracket, now versus later. There's no universal good bracket. Sometimes converting at 22% makes sense, sometimes 24%, and sometimes even at 32% can make sense if it saves you from much higher future taxes. It's all about comparing today's cost with tomorrow's inevitabilities. Number 3, how you pay the tax. If you can pay it with outside cash, you keep the entire conversion inside the Roth to grow tax-free. If you pull the tax from the IRA, you shrink your compounding base. And then number 4, timing. And this is where people lose the most money. Because timing doesn't just mean when you convert, it means how long you give your Roth to do what it's built to do. And I'll show you a real example in just a minute. You've probably heard of the golden window for Roth conversions. That's the sweet spot after you retire, but before RMDs begin. Lower income, lower taxes, right? And that can be true. But here's what almost no one talks about. If your retirement accounts are already large, that window might not be big enough. I've seen people wait until that window only to realize that even converting aggressively, they simply ran out of time. Their balances kept growing faster than they could convert. The smarter approach, start earlier on purpose. Even modest conversions while you're still working can create 5 extra years of tax-free growth and smoother tax brackets later. And in a moment, I'll show you how to know if you fall into that camp without using any fancy software. Now let's bring this to life with a simple example. Phil and Claire are both 60. They earn about $240,000 together, spend about $8,000 a month, and have roughly $1.4 million in pre-tax retirement accounts. They plan to retire at 65, and they've been told to wait until then to start converting. That's plan A. Plan B says start now. Convert a modest amount each year for the next 5 years while they're still working, pay the tax from cash flow, and stay under the 24% tax bracket. When we run the math, even conservatively, Plan B gives their Roth 5 extra years of compounding. And over a lifetime, it can mean hundreds of thousands in extra tax-free growth. That's the hidden lever, time. Time in the Roth matters more than timing the market. In a second, I'll show you how to find your own conversion runway, the point where waiting could start costing you. Now grab a pen. Here's a quick 7-question test I use with clients to see if conversions make sense this year. 1, what's your projected income this year? Number 2, what's your taxable income after deductions? Number 3, what's the top of the tax bracket you're comfortable with? 22, 24, maybe higher. 4, how much room do you have before you hit that bracket ceiling? 5, will that number bump you into IRMA? 6, do you have cash outside your IRA to pay the tax? And 7, what's your time horizon? Because if you have at least 10 years before you'll need that money, every year you delay may be a year of compounding you never get back. So before you say, I'll just wait until I retire, ask yourself whether waiting might quietly be the most expensive part of your plan. So how do you actually do this if you're still working? There's 2 common paths. Option 1, an in-plan Roth conversion. Some 401ks let you move pre-tax money directly into a Roth sub-account while you're still employed. Ask HR if that's available. Option 2, a traditional to Roth IRA conversion. If your plan allows in-service rollovers, you can move a portion of your 401k to an IRA, then convert. The key is coordination, making sure that the conversion stays inside your target bracket and your tax payments are handled correctly. This isn't something to guess on, because in a moment I'll tell you the single biggest warning sign that your conversion is too aggressive and how to fix it fast. The most common mistake, all or nothing thinking. You don't need to convert everything or nothing. Consistent, controlled conversions over time are usually more effective. Another one, ignoring what happens when one spouse passes away. The survivor moves into a single tax bracket, often paying higher rates on the same income. Planning conversions with that in mind can save thousands later. And finally, don't forget IRMA. Jumping into a higher tier for 1 year isn't always bad, but it should be intentional, not accidental. So what actually cost that man $950,000? It wasn't the investments, it wasn't bad advice, it was waiting too long. He believed the perfect time would come, but the perfect time never came. By starting just 5 years earlier, even with modest conversions, he could have cut his lifetime tax bill nearly in half. His mistake wasn't doing the wrong thing, it was doing the right thing too late. The truth is, your tax plan is just as important as your investment plan. And if you're serious about building a retirement that's confident and tax efficient, you can't afford to wait and see. Click the link below if you'd like to schedule a consultation with one of our experts to see exactly when you should start your Roth conversions. I'm Kurt Soupy, helping you retire with clarity and confidence. See you next time.